dun, 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 dun. I actually really tried to make a point of that.
That's a walk to Robbie Glendenning.
We're back. Apologies. All sorts of mobile connection issues. We've changed to a different network. Just to give you an update of what you've missed. In the bottom of the fourth. Monoroa flied out. Kyle Perkins struck out. Cam Warner got a walk, but then Ayagi, he struck out to win the inning. We're now in the top of the fifth. Zach Lamond, sorry. He's the pitcher for the Cavalry, but so far there is none out. There are two on. Tristan Gray led off. He had a single to right field. Robbie Glendenning walked, which brings up the centre fielder, Carl Chester. The count is 1-0. Lamond set from the stretch. He delivers, and that's a beautifully... That's a beautiful breaking pitch in there. It is now 1-1. Apologies for that. The score still remains the same. It is Perth Heat 5, Canberra Cavalry 2. Lamond set right in there again for a called strike 2 on Carl Chester. Apologies, as you can see in the comments that Chris wrote. We're at the mercy at the moment of mobile data, and it's not being our friend tonight. We've switched networks and changed, so hopefully we can stay with you to the end now. Lamond delivers. That's high and inside for ball 2. We'll head round the grounds in the minute and give you an update. Checks Gray at second. Glendenning at first. Turns, but nobody's there. Sydney have got 3 runs now on Adelaide. They lead 3-0. Melbourne have pegged a run back early, and it's the bottom of the fourth against Auckland. It is 3-1 to the Tuatara. And Brisbane have put on another one, and they lead 6-2 against Geelong Korea. Lamond from the stretch. Chester swings and misses strike 3. And he is the first out here in the top of the 5th inning. Alex Hall steps in. He had the 2-run double in the first, but then in the third, He hit it straight back to J.R. Bunda. He's now out of the game. We'll get you a pitching line on him if we can. Lamond in, and he delivers from the stretch. Strike one to Alex Hall. Checks the runners coming from the stretch. And Hall hits that straight at Massey, but Massey has no option but to fire over to Maonaroa at first to get the put out there. That's 2 down, but both runners advance, which moves Tristan Gray to third, Robbie Glendinning to second, 2 out in the top of the 5th. And that brings up Jake Bowie. He is 0 for 1 tonight. He has a walk and grounded out to the second baseman, Massey, in his last appearance in the third. Lamont set at the stretch. Bowie hits that straight to Maonaroa, who steps on the bag as easy as you like. And that ends the top of the 5th. No runs on the board for Perth again, but they still lead 5-2. And it's stretch time here in the middle of 5 as I'm rejoined by Chris. Hello, Chris.
Hello, Woz. I tell you what, it's not often I get a chance to walk around at the ballpark during a game.
I did my best in your absence.
Yeah, and
there's no hate mail.
Well, what can you say when the mobile network gets overwhelmed by the sheer number of people trying to use it? There's not a great deal you can do about it. Our apologies for that. That's one of the things that I was, funnily enough, discussing was ways to avoid these circumstances happening in future, and hopefully we've got a solution for that down the track. But be that as it may, tremendous atmosphere here tonight, and the home side, well, not out of it, but gee, they're making it tough for themselves, Was.
The midnight hour is approaching very quickly, Chris Coleman. As I said, we've been going around when we can because, of course, lots of final predicaments here. Sydney lead Adelaide 3-0 in the bottom of the 3rd. The Tuatara, they lead Melbourne 3-1 in the bottom of the 4th in Melbourne.
Explains why I got a text message from a friend in Melbourne saying any chance that Canberra can win for us tonight.
And Brisbane leading 6-2 over Geelong Korea.
Something rather unusual there. I'm not sure who was singing there. That certainly wasn't Neil Diamond.
No, there's someone down the front there. They were singing. So we come back here in the bottom of the 5th and we head to the top of the order. Michael Francoso 2 for 2 tonight with a home run and a double. Brooks Hall, he's still the man out there for Perth. In the wind-up delivers. Francoso swings and misses strike 1.
So Brooks Hall, who prior to tonight had thrown a grand total of 5 innings in the Australian Baseball League, is into his 5th inning for tonight.
It's a funny old game. Hall from the wind-up again. Low and inside, ball 1.
I'm not even going to worry about trying to catch up with my book. We'll just
no, you can use mine, my friend.
We'll just call it as we see it.
That's all right. That's all right. You can be my colour man. Hall from the wind-up delivers to Francoso, who fouls it off his foot. Quickly, the count is 1-2 on Francoso. Here in the bottom of the 5th, Perth leading 5-2. They got the jump early on Kuniyoshi and Bunda as Francoso fouls another one away. Bunda did well, came back hard after he gave up those 2 runs. The count is 1-2. Brooks Hall doing very well here for the Heat. There is action in their bullpen. Don't know if it'll be used. Might just be as a precaution. Here's the pitch. High and outside, but Francoso tags it over to the rugby league field. Count is still 1-2. Bottom of the 5th here at MIT Ballpark. Canberra working hard, but they don't want to leave it much longer as Francoso does the bend at the waist dance to get out of the way of the ball that was inside. The count is 2-2.
How often do you see it?
Francoso fouls that one off. Sorry, Chris.
How often do you see it? Flurry of runs at the start of the game. In this case, 7 runs across the first 2 innings, and then it all goes quiet as the game settles down into a much more normal routine. How often do you see that with a game of baseball? I reckon you see that more often than you see it the other way, where it's a low-scoring game and suddenly it explodes at the end.
Hard to argue with 170-odd games of experience. Hall from the wind-up delivers. Francoso fouls another one off. This will be the 9th pitch of the at-bat coming. Hall from the wind-up delivers. Francoso fouls another one off. Pitch 10 coming. Here we go, 2-2. Hall to Francoso, and he's fouled and twisted and running out of room here.
How many's this one?
This will be pitch number 11 of this at bat. Count is only 2-2. Bottom of the 5th here at MIT Ballpark. Hall from the wind-up. Oh! And Francoso does a couple of push-ups. He's literally, he has literally thrown that at his feet. It is a sand shoe crusher. He's done the old hot shoe shuffle and jumped back with both feet, fallen over, and then done 2 push-ups for the crowd.
It's almost as like he's dropped an interception in the NFL, so he's gone down and done a couple of press-ups.
Hall again, and Francoso fouls another one off. Mate, I'm nearly across 2 innings. If he has to come up and bat again in the 6th, I'm in trouble. He's look at this. He's nearly across 2 boxes on my scorebook here, Chris Coleman.
Well, he's running them out.
Pitch number 13. Fouled again. Count is full. There have been 8 fouls in this at bat. 3-2. Bottom of the 5th. Hall from the wind-up delivers. And that's inside in the dirt, ball 4. Francoso draws a 14-pitch walk.
And Warwick Pethybridge is off to go and buy a new pencil.
No, I've switched to the pen.
I was going to say, it's a very dark pencil. It's actually the pen.
I had to because my pencil didn't work.
Oh, okay.
So, here we go. The manager comes out for Perth. As David Candless is the next hitter. I'm wondering, I'm having a look. Hall's not happy. The hat's off.
He's not happy because
he's about to get removed. Yeah. Yep, here he comes. Oh, no. The manager hasn't taken the ball out of his hand. He offered the ball up. Got the shake of the head, threw the ball back in the glove.
No, I'm not here for that.
But
yet.
Well, as we say that, Chris Coleman, there is a pitcher warming up.
Yeah. How many's he thrown? That'll be what it'll come down to.
Well, he's only in the bottom of the 5th, but yeah, it's pretty taxing throwing a 14.
I think that may be it. It may just be a tactical visit to say he's just thrown 14 pitches at one batter. Let's just give him a chance to
It says here,
get his arm back.
80 pitches, 51 strikes. He had been moving at a good rate. David Candless steps in, none out, bottom of the 5th. Low and outside, ball 1. Shows you the class of Michael Francoso, leading the league in batting average and still draws a 14-pitch walk, fouling off 8. He's the man at first for Canberra. Hall set at the belt. He delivers. Candless swings and misses strike 1. Count is 1-1. All of a sudden, a little bit more noise here from the fans at MIT Ballpark.
Well, they know that it's only 3 runs.
Did you know that?
Good piece for Candless here, and the whole complexion of this game changes.
Right along the outside edge for a called strike 2.
Having said that, too many more pitches like that, and it'll be game over very, very quickly.
Canberra with 9 outs left. None out here, bottom of the 5th. Michael Francoso was the runner at first. And he throws one straight past the swinging bat of Candless for a strikeout. One down. Massey comes up. He drew an 8-7 pitch walk in the 3rd. He was the victim of an off break from Hall as well. He did the hot shoe shuffle. Hall set at the belt, delivers. That is very low inside in the dirt, but Massey couldn't stop himself swinging at it. 0-1. Chris is flying through his scorebook trying to catch up. I love it. All set from the stretch, delivers. And that was at the feet of Massey. Ball 1. Good block job there by Chris House.
He's been impressive tonight.
He has. Didn't keep it in front of him, but he took enough speed, took enough of a hit on it to kill the speed of the ball and not let it get away. 1-1, 1 out. Perth still leading 5-2. Hall set. And he gets a big swing out of Massey, but no contact. Strike 2. The left-handed Massey steps in against the right-handed Brooks Hall. He comes set at the stretch. And there it is again. Massey's just punch shotted that into centre field over Carl Chester. Chester going back, takes a very good catch about 10 feet from the fence. But that's that Massey chokes up on that pitch.
He's not a power hitter. He hits for position, and he's got speed to turn singles into doubles and so on as the second mound visit for the inning takes place. So this will be good night to Brooks Hall here, which means he'll get 4 2/3 innings in.
And he's done very well.
He has done very well, and he's got 40 hits coming into tonight's game. So 40 hits in 30-something games.
But he's done what you're told there. He's literally choked up on the bat a little, and he's just punched at it. He's just met it with contact, not at any great speed. He's just played for contact, but he's put that within 10 feet of the fence, and Chester was heading back and literally like a corkscrew at one point. He's going one way, then back the other way.
Okay, fans, that is a call to the bullpen for the Perth Heat. Coming into the game is number 27, Cameron Lamb.
Cameron Lamb coming in, as you've heard from stadium announcer Matt Percy. Here's a man who is no stranger to the Australian Baseball League, or indeed to fans here in Perth. We've seen plenty of fans here in Canberra, rather. We've seen him on multiple occasions against Canberra. .2 innings pitched across the course of 12 appearances for the Perth Heat so far this season. Cameron Lamb.
Ooh, Chris Coleman. Auckland have tacked on a 3 spot in the 4th. They currently lead Melbourne 6-1 in the top of the 5th in that game down in Melbourne.
Gee, who would you rather play on Wednesday? Would you rather play Perth or Melbourne?
Well, considering this is the only series that Canberra will play against Perth this season, and they got swept by Melbourne in round 1 in Melbourne.
Yeah, that was a long time ago. That was Canberra still coming together as a side. Melbourne have stuttered and stumbled lately. Canberra have improved steadily across the course of the season.
All I was going to say, Chris, was, you know, either way, either poison you pick doesn't look tempting because you've got to travel on the road. Wilson, he steps in. Had a single in the 1st. He had that little hit that went over the head of Jake Bowie in the 3rd, but Bowie tracked it down. It's the first pitch offering from Lamb. Great breaking ball. Strike one.
Cameron Lamb across the ABL dating back to season 1 in 2010-2011 has appeared in 106 games and has started precisely one of them.
Well, specialist bullpen man. He got Wilson a swing at the second one, pitching from the stretch, because as we know, Francoso, he's the runner at first. 0-2. And he gets Wilson on 3 straight breaking balls. That is strike 3, side away again. No runs for the Cavalry. Perth still leading 5-2, Chris Coleman.
Breaks a pattern there too. Canberra had sent 5 to the plate in the first, 4 in the second, 5 in the third, 4 in the fourth, but they couldn't go 5 in the fifth.
Unfortunate.
We've got one of our special attractions happening, and
I think this is the grand final of the Boss Toss.
This is got far more competitive than it should be for a little bit of between innings fun. If you're wondering what we're talking about, in the safety netting here at MOT Ballpark, there is a hole that was cut many years ago for a TV camera, and they've developed this game over the years, trying to throw a ball into and through that camera netting. And Sonny Singh, who's one of the office staff here in charge of ticketing and membership at the Cavalry, and Don McMichael, the CEO of the club, they take it very, very seriously. And Don, I think, claims that he's undefeated.
No, I think Percy got one on him this year, the grounder now. So it's Aaron. So Aaron and Sonny a couple of weeks ago on a rain delay, I got the privilege to go out and play. They both got one in. Aaron's was amazing. It actually hit the net to the right of it and then spun in.
Yep.
And now it's just a, as you said, it's a friendly game that has just turned too far.
Turned too far into competition, and we've just had four men down there. Sonny Singh from the office, Don McMichael, the club CEO, Matt Percy, the stadium announcer, and Aaron, who's one of the dedicated fans here. And all of them missed on every shot they had there. So a bit of an anticlimax to the grand season finale of the Boss Toss here at MIT Ballpark. But we head into the 6th inning here. And Zach Lamont still out there on the mound for the Canberra Cavalry.
Chris House, left-handed hitting catcher, he steps in against the right-handed Lamond. House has hit that. That has gone back. That is going to clear the fence. Home run.
No, just short.
Oh, has it? Sorry, it has. Sorry, I've lost that in the light.
Right into the corner of the bent spoke sign. It did go up past light, past the light level, and from where you're sitting was, yeah, it would have gone directly in front of the floodlights and out of your view, but
directly in front of the floodlights and the orange bar. My apologies to Chris House. I've talked the young man up too early.
It's a nice piece, though, into the very far right corner of this ballpark in fair territory. And he now, off one pitch in the 6th, stands at second base.
Once again, Perth getting runners aboard early. Score is still 5-2 in favour of the Perth Heat. Lamond from the stretch. Low and outside, but he draws a swing out of Tim Kennelly. Strike one. Kennelly had the double. No, single, sorry. Single to centre field. Lamond set from the stretch. As Kennelly fouls one back to the screen and is quickly down 0-2. Canberra needs some outs now. Oh, 2 the count to Tim Kennelly. Lamond set at the belt. Checks House. Kennelly lines it into right field. That'll be a base hit. Candless comes up with the ball. House is wisely held by the third base coach. He's like, mate, you did the good work and got yourself out there. Don't kill yourself now.
And Tim Kennelly, 3 for 4 tonight.
Yeah. Started out with the fly out to Craig Massey and then has gone. Got 3 singles. Runners at first and third here for the heat. None out. House at third. Kennelly at first. Chris Clare, he steps in. And he tries to bunt. Fouls it back to the screen. Count is 0-1. Lamond comes set at the belt. Checks the runners. And he's fouled another one back, Chris Clare. Quickly down, 0-2.
Not a fly out to Perth so far. Chris Clare, a line drive to centre field, but not counted as a fly out.
Oh no, it was very flat.
Yeah.
Kraus didn't have to move. You mark it down as an F8, but it wasn't a fly. It was hit straight at him.
Yeah, on the official scorebook, not a fly out so far to Perth. Kuniyoshi 1 ground out and no fly outs. Bunda 6 ground outs, no fly outs. Lamont 2 ground outs, no fly outs.
As Lamond attempts to pick off Tim Kennelly at first.
Throwing a couple of strikeouts and a double play, and that's your outs for the game so far. Not one fly out. You don't see that often.
Not at all.
Especially when a side that has not had a fly out is winning 5-2.
As Lamond fires one straight past the swinging bat of Chris Clare for strike 3. 1 away.
Now batting the second baseman, number 33, Coleman.
So, 1 out here, top of the 6th. The runner at third is Chris House. The runner at first is Tim Kennelly. House reaching on a double. Move to third on the base hit from Kennelly. Lamond set at the stretch. He delivers to Cosma. Kennelly is running. No throw. So now Kennelly moves to second. Cosma fouls it back. 1-1. One out. Chris Howe. Low and in the dirt. Very well blocked by Kyle Perkins. Count is 2 balls and 1 strike. So Chris House is the runner at third. Tim Kennelly at second. First base is vacant. Pete Cosma. 2 balls, 1 strike. Lamond set. And he's popped that straight up. Massey coming in. He's called everyone off. Takes it comfortably. 2 away.
How important is this next batter? This at-bat from Tristan Gray. In terms of the Canberra Cavalry, this could be make or break.
Well,
they get this wrong, they are probably completely cooked. They get it right, they stay alive.
That's actually a very good summation. They can't let Perth tack on any more runs. They're still trying to come back and win this game, which they need to if they're going to try and avoid a travelling situation in the wildcard game on Wednesday.
Well, they'll be travelling.
And there is strike 1 from Lamond. Tristan Gray, the left-handed shortstop. He is 1 for 2. He's had a walk. He's grounded into a double play, and he had a single to right field in his last at bat. Lamond set. And that's high, but Gray checks his swing. Ball 1. 1-1. 2 out here. Top of the 6th. Chris House, he's the runner at 3rd. Tim Kennelly at 2nd. Lamont set. And straight past Gray. Strike 1. Strike 2. Strike 2. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Big pitch here for Zach Lamond. He comes set from the stretch. And he gets it straight past Gray. Strike 3. So, after giving up a double and a single and having 2 runners on, gets himself out of the jam. We're midway through 6 here at MIT Ballpark. The score is still the same as it was after 2 innings, Chris Coleman. Perth Heat 5, Canberra Cavalry 2.
Well, Warwick Pethybridge, it's fascinating here. And Zach Lamond, he's such an interesting pitcher to watch. He really is a fighter. He knows that sometimes he puts himself in tough positions, but gee, he just fights and throws some heat, throws some really good stuff. He's never beaten, and the number of times I've seen him put runners on base and then he'll dig himself out of the hole. Really works so hard, and just amazingly hard worker. Goes wrong sometimes, but more often than not, he manages to get himself out of the hole, and his ERA for this season sits at under 2. Remarkable effort for a guy who's come in, and sometimes he's come in some pretty ordinary situations, doing well. You've got some scores from around the ground. How's that thriller in Melbourne? Well, not so much thriller, but potential upset in Melbourne looking.
Well, it's the bottom of the 5th. Melbourne pegged back 2 in the top of the 5th. It is now 6-3 to the Tuatara. Sydney leading Adelaide. Adelaide got 1 in the bottom of the 4th. It is 3-1 there. Still 6-2. Brisbane over Geelong Korea. I tell you, the Tuatara, imagine if they could hold on and sneak 3 away from the Aces.
Well, winning it, they've had a tough season. They've had a really tough initiation. No real home ground, a temporary home ground in Auckland that they did a lot of work to, and then they've come over and they've been on the road for something like 43 or 44 days.
And yeah, that's what I mean. It goes down. It goes down as a Tuatara home series, but they're actually playing at the Aces ballpark in Melbourne. Michael Krause, he steps in to lead off the 6th inning. He is 0 for 2 with a ground out and a fly out. And that is ball 1. Still Lamb, just making sure. Lamb set, delivers. Krause rips one straight between the 3rd baseman and the shortstop into left field for a single.
Every comeback's got to start somewhere. And if you can get your leading batter on in the bottom of the 2nd last inning, that's a good starting point for it. And Boss Monaroa coming in. Carl Perkins, who is 1 for 2 tonight to follow up. And Cam Warner, who's 1 for 1 plus a walk. So this is, for want of a better way of putting it, Boss, who's mercurial, followed by a couple of batters who are in form.
You really enjoyed your break, didn't you? You've come back full of fire.
Where are we at? Game 39 of a 40-game season.
And that's a called strike on Boss. Breaking pitch there by Lamb. And Lamb pitching from the stretch. Krause the runner at first. Lamb. Oh, right. Must be right at the perfect height that home plate umpire Ben Nash likes. He's been calling them there all night.
You'd think by now that's, if he's been calling them there all night, well, that's where you got to go for it, isn't it?
0-2 the count to Monaroa. Lamb delivers Monaroa up and under it. Left fielder Chris Clare charging round, but he won't get there. It'll bounce foul. Count is still 0-2. Bottom of the 6th here at MIT Ballpark. Perth still leading 5-2. Canberra trying to get something going here. Leadoff man Michael Krause, he singled to left field. Monaroa 0-2. Lamb delivers. Monaroa swings through. Strike 3.
The Boss goes 0 for 3 this evening.
Kyle Perkins 1 for 2. He had a double in the second and scored on the single from Cam Warner. Struck out in the fourth. And he steps in now, Lamb. He's set from the stretch. Perkins has hit this. This has gone back a very long way over the fence and gone. All of a sudden it is 5-4.
Oh yeah, he smashed that. He has absolutely just eaten that for breakfast, lunch and dinner. It's landed in the car park down there. And, well, what was that someone said about we're into the part of the batting lineup that's in form?
Yeah, no, okay, you can have it. But high breaking pitch there from Lamb. Perkins all over that in a heartbeat. It was still going up as it went over the fence. As now Cam Warner steps in. Lamb delivers a first pitch strike.
It's home run number 5 for Kyle Perkins.
Lamb delivers. Warner rips it down the third base line, foul.
And that's 5 home runs off 34 hits.
Not a bad way to make your moolah. But quickly Warner falls down 0-2. Lamb still pitching from the stretch. There's a lot of bullpen pitchers do. They don't even bother about a wind-up. He comes set, delivers low and outside, ball 1. And now all of a sudden, you can hear the crowd in
the crowd was silent early, but that was silent with disappointment. Now it's silent with nervous energy.
And that's low and outside again. All of a sudden, there is action in the Perth pen. We hadn't seen a lot.
Jeez, who do you go to? Do you go to Dan Schmidt, who had a tough one last night?
Oh, we might find out, my friend. All of a sudden, 5-4, 2-2. Warner fouls that back into Snake Gully.
Now, here's how important this at-bat is right now. If Warner gets on, there's only one out. You've got Aoyagi yet. Now, Aoyagi,
Mate,
he hasn't had a lot of hits, but he's had 15, only 6 RBIs for the season, so not a huge set. But if Warner gets on and then Aoyagi doesn't hit a double play,
one's outside.
you're then back at the top of the order.
And
Two outs and you go Fran Soso coming in, 2 outs with 1 on.
So 3-2 here, great pitch. If Warner gets on, you'd probably bun Aoyagi. Warner, and that's outside, ball 4. So Warner on, 1 out.
Well, will they bunt Aoyagi here? Will they say, right, you've got to drop it down at your feet and just get Warner around to second?
I don't know. Nothing yet.
No. Robbie Perkins comes in.
Oh,
Smart move. Smart move. They did this in extra innings a couple of weeks ago against Sydney. Perkins came in and replaced Aoyagi. Now we'll have to keep an eye on this when they come out to field too, by the way.
But here we go.
Ducks and Drakes now.
Canberra made the move. They brought Perkins in to replace Aoyagi. But here comes the Heat manager, and he relieves Lamb of duty. He is out of the game. Now all of a sudden, what's the saying? It's where the rubber meets the road.
Oh, yeah.
5-4.
Oh, we are in for a grandstand finish now. How crucial will that walk to Cam Warner turn out to be? So Robbie Perkins will come in. We'll keep an eye on the field placements too when we come back out for the top of the 7th. I'd imagine Robbie will go in behind the dish and Kyle will go out to left field, although they may leave Kyle in behind the dish. So
Scott Mitchinson is the new pitcher for the Perth Heat.
oh yeah, well, why not? Why not? Go for one of your guns. This man is quite a performer.
Just while we're waiting with the pitching change, we'll go back around the grounds. Adelaide got another one in the bottom of the 4th. They now trail Sydney 3-2.
Oh, thrillers all over the place in the ABL. Auckland potentially going to win their first series on Australian soil.
Going to win their first series, Chris Coleman. They haven't won a series.
Valid. Valid point. No, they won the first series against Brisbane in technical terms because it was only a 3-game series because the 4th game got washed out. So they got to win over there 2-1. But their first complete series win, their first series win on Australian soil in the offing. Adelaide looking to upset the competition leaders. Canberra looking to come from behind and keep their hopes of top spot in the whole shebang alive. But you're going to love it.
How many times have you seen teams that you get to this last round and teams that are eliminated from playoff contention have one last say on, let's just shake up the picture?
Well, isn't it great to see? Isn't it great to see that these sides, and Geelong Korea, how are they going against Brisbane? Have you got a number on that? We haven't spoken about that one. We should probably talk about it.
They were down 6-2. Still down 6-2 in the top of the 7th.
But there's still a game to come in that series tomorrow as well. So
Melbourne still trailing 6-3 to the Tuatara in the top of the 6th. Robbie Perkins steps in against Scott Mitchinson. You talk about key battles. It is 1 out. Here in the bottom of the 6th, Canberra have cut the lead to 1. Perkins steps in. Cam Warner is the runner at first. Mitchinson delivers. Perkins swings through. Strike 1.
Prior to the season beginning, this man was named as the club captain for the Canberra Cavalry.
For moments like these?
I think it's absolutely for moments like these.
Perkins down 0-1. Warner leads from first. Mitchinson outside with that breaking pitch. Very good work there by Chris House. He was at full stretch on his offhand side. On his backhand side with the glove. They've got past him. Warner was at second. 1-1. Mitchinson set. He delivers a breaking pitch. Robbie has, if you heard Chris Coleman groan, it's because that pitch has swung right past Perkins' bat and Chris is a little excited.
That's gone. That's moved 8 or 9 inches from inside to outside. That's gone away from Perkins. He thought it was sitting there big and fat. I thought it was sitting there big and fat, and then it's gone past the end of the bat.
1-2 the count to Perkins. Mitchinson goes for the pick-off. Warner, the first baseman, Bowie. He doesn't even try to tag. He just throws it straight back. Cam Warner is the runner at first.
188 pitches in his career in the ABL, 188.1 innings pitched rather in his career in the ABL, 186 strikeouts. Runner goes.
He throws that in the dirt, but they've got Warner at second. And the crowd don't like it, but he was that was a great throw. Breaking pitch. Perkins didn't swing. Count is 2-2. Warner ran and House just threw a bullet.
Began as a starter for Perth back in 2012-13. Started half a dozen or so games.
Just outside.
Boy, that didn't miss by much.
Sorry, Chris. We're going to stay with this because now
absolutely
3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out. Bottom of the 6th. And your second out is a bloke who's been caught stealing. Perkins now with a full count. Mitchinson, he's pitching from the stretch. Time called by home plate umpire Ben Nash. We'll get back to that in a minute, Chris, but Mitchinson comes set. From the stretch, delivers, and that is called strike 3 on Robbie Perkins.
There's that filthy breaking ball again.
Big pitch as he comes in and retires the side, but 2 runs were given up in that innings, and now with the 7th inning, the final inning of this game, it is the Perth Heat 5. Canberra Cavalry 4. And how critical is that stolen base, caught stealing by Cam Warner? You're all of a sudden 1 on, 1 out. 2 pitches later, it's all outside away.
No, I still think it was the right call. I still think it was the right call to send him. Plenty of speed there. Cam Warner didn't quite get away to the best of starts on the steal attempt.
And that's McCarmy. The Cavalry have sent McCarmy out.
Well, go for your gun at this point. You're down by 1. First part of this is shut them down. Don't give up any more runs. And what have they got coming up for Perth? It's Robbie Glendinning. He's been walked twice and struck out once. Carl Chester, who's struck out twice and hit into an infield out, so he's 0 for 3. And Alex Hall, who doubled off Yuki Kuniyoshi back in the first inning, but since then has hit 2 infield outs. So, McCarmy last night, I'll just give you his numbers from last night.
I was just going to say and interrupt you. Sorry, Chris, you were right. The change has happened. Robbie Perkins comes into the game. He moves behind the dish. Kyle Perkins out to left field.
Here are his numbers from last night, McCarmy. Came in, pitched with the Cavalry leading by 5-2 for the top of the 9th. Threw 1 inning, struck out 1, had 1 ground out in there as well. Threw 8 pitches for 6 strikes.
Not a bad night's work.
The two pitches that he threw that weren't strikes were probably the 2 worst pitches that he's thrown for the Cavalry this season. So, really, he's been lights out when he's come into pitch.
Brisbane have just tacked on another 2 more in the top of the 7th. They lead 8-2 over Geelong Korea.
Brisbane may wind up on top of the whole pile at the end of this.
Sydney still leading in Adelaide. Glendinning is 0 for 1. He's got 2 walks though. He leads off for the Perth Heat against McCarmy. McCarmy with the wind-up delivers. And that one's just missed low. Ball 1. As you said, McCarmy pitched last night, but only threw 8 pitches. Still should be fresh. He winds up and fires. And that's low again.
He'll give you no time between pitches. He still has the little leg hitch, as most Japanese pitchers do, but no time between his delivery.
But quickly, Glendinning is up 3-0. 3 balls, no strikes.
He's gone walk, strike out, walk.
And there's one right in there. Recalled strike 1. 3-1 to the right-handed Glendinning. McCarmy from the wind-up. Glendinning has fly that David Candless calls off Massey. Right underneath it for the fly, 1 away. There you go, Chris.
First fly out for the night for Perth.
That's a genuine flyer.
It took till the 7th inning to get there.
Now batting the centre fielder, number 11, Carl Chester.
The right-handed hitting Carl Chester. He is 0 for 3. He has 2 strikeouts and a ground out. He comes in. McCarmy from the wind-up delivers. Low and outside, ball 1. McCarmy, as you said, no time between pitches, goes again. And that breaking pitch is in there for strike 1.
How far inside did that pitch start and how far away did it move in the last 2 feet?
Moved a lot because
Carl
Chester took a step back and it was still there. McCarmy again.
And again.
There it is.
He's got the breaking pitch working now. He'll just keep going to the well.
Oh, I don't know. 1 and 2. 1 out here, top of the 7th. Final inning here at MIT Ballpark, unless we're tied. McCarmy.
Blown away coming up. There it is.
And there it is. And no, home plate umpire. Robbie Perkins went to point at home first base umpire Matt Pearson, but he didn't have to because home plate umpire Ben Nash ruled that he went round. 2 away.
I'm sorry, I've seen that movie a few times before. High inside breaking ball away, high inside breaking ball that goes away, low outside breaking ball, gets the bottom outside corner. Now it's interesting, he's got a lefty.
Left-handed Alex Hall, the DH. McCarmy, there's that breaking pitch again.
So Hall is going to have them coming back at him.
Hall is 1 for 3, but he had the 2 RBI double in the... He checks the swing.
Oh, that's filthy.
Chris Coleman is in hysterics up here in the box. McCarmy is literally putting on a breaking ball clinic. Hall down 0-2, 2 out here, top of the 7th. McCarmy
gets 6 breaking balls in a row.
Hall has swung through in the dirt. Perkins picks it up, throws to first base. and he has struck out the last 2 hitters on 6 breaking pitches, 6 curveballs in a row.
Absolutely filthy, the 5th one.
4 of them were... I just... you might want to tell your mum to get some Windex, because they were absolutely... You were right, Chris Coleman. That's the best word for it.
I tell you, if you can get yourself a subscription, I don't know how you watch NPB in Australia. I don't know what the mechanism is, how you go about watching it. But in all seriousness, if you can get yourself a way of watching Japanese professional baseball, and you can buy a season ticket or whatever that covers the Yokohama DNA All-Stars, if you can watch Shota Imanaga and Tomoya Mikami all season long in NPB, I would highly recommend doing that. I'm going to look into it, because they've just provided such a spark to this club and to this league.
Mitchelson, he's back out for the bottom of the 7th. But now it's what you talk about. Here you go. Francoso, Candelas, Massey, potentially Wilson and Krause. He's got to go through the... This is why they've brought him out. He's the star of this Perth bullpen, but he's got to go through the top of the order.
Massive challenge. Massive, massive challenge.
Mikami's ERA, 1.23. And here we go. Saturday night baseball here in the nation's capital at MIT Ballpark. I'm Warwick, Pethybridge. Chris Coleman to my right here at Cavalry Live.
Well, bring it home, was. Bottom of the 7th, 1 run in it.
All right, thanks.
Bring it home.
All right, mate. Michael Francoso. I think he's batting a lazy .439. And will most likely win the ABL batting title by a long way, unless he gets, I don't know, he breaks his leg on his scooter on the way to the ballpark tomorrow. He leads off. Mitchelson inside, ball 1. And this crowd that was very quiet earlier is suddenly coming back to lots of noise and edginess. Mitchelson set at the stretch, delivers. Breaking pitches in there for strike 1. One and 1 is the count. Francoso. High and outside, ball 2.
He's 2 for 2 with a walk, a home run and a double. Either of those would be a very favourable outcome from a Cavalry perspective.
Any of them. The left-handed Francoso against the right-handed Mitchelson. Mitchelson delivers. High and outside, ball 3.
Okay, 3 and 1's a hitter's count, but do you say to Francoso, swing away here, or do you wait?
Oh, well, mate, the bloke's batting .440 and has an ABP of about 525.
Exactly.
I reckon you put it in his hands. 3 and 1. Mitchelson delivers. Francoso does go and fouls it back. Count is full, mind you, as well. He did draw a walk in his last at bat after 14 pitches and fouling off 8. So I think if there's anyone where Keith Ward's going to say, mate, I trust your judgment here.
Yeah, just go for your life. Yeah.
Michael Francoso is that man. Count is full, 3 balls, 2 strikes. Mitchelson delivers, and he has called Francoso out looking.
The umpires won't like that.
Francoso had ripped off the elbow guard, thrown the bat, and was going for the elbow guard, and then was called out on strikes. Whew. Well, 1 down. Still 5-4 in favour of the Perth Heat. David Candelas steps in. 0 for 3 for Candelas in this game with 2 strikeouts.
I can tell you David Candelas' father is here tonight. He's armed with his long lens camera, as he usually is.
I think I can see him about 5 rows in front of us. And as that one is a called strike on Candelas. 0-1. Mitchelson set at the belt. He delivers, and that's a breaking pitch outside. Misses. 1-1. Trying to get this Canberra crowd back into it. Mitchelson comes set at the stretch. He delivers. Candelas fouls it back. 1-2. One and 2 the count on David Candelas. A lot of nervous people in this park. Mitchelson set at the belt. He delivers. Candless has absolutely crushed this. Deep left field, way back and gone, tied game.
And that's why we call it the David Candless car detailing lot outside the left field fence.
Points to his father in the stands, and then his father's looking around. And now he's pointing around. That's my boy.
And why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you?
Oh,
I've racked up 50,000 or something kilometres following the cavalry. I think David Candless's father has racked up hundreds of thousands of kilometres following his son, and that's the moments you do it for.
all right. Well, let's reset now. It is 5-5. One out in the 7th. That pitch is missed by Mitchelson. It's 1-0 to Craig Massey. Now we go again. Mitchelson, set, delivers. Breaking ball, strike one called.
Task falls to Massey or to Wilson.
So you
or
were saying,
possibly to Krause.
you were saying earlier, oh no, not a lot of runs late. Well, mate, they've turned the script. It's 1-1 the count to Massey. Mitchelson delivers inside. 2-1.
Massey sways back to accentuate that one being just on the inside and making it look a lot further inside with that sway back. The crowd making some noise.
It is tied here. 2-1 the count to Massey. Mitchelson set at the belt. He delivers. Massey has popped this up. Everybody chasing after it in towards foul territory. Oh, Gray's overrun it. He got there, but
Gray's hit the warning track at speed, tried to stop, and unfortunately for him, he couldn't stop because he's at the warning track and suddenly no grip. Feet keep going.
yeah, he's tried to stop, but unlike earlier, the flags are limp. There is no wind here at MIT Ballpark. Chris Coleman, you look like you're about to have a coronary. Hang with me, big buddy. Hang with me. That's quick. 2-2 is the count.
Forget the other games. This is all that matters.
Oh, I know it is. I was just having a look.
This is for the whole ball of wax.
Mate, all right, just calm. 2-2. He's excited. Massey ready. Mitchelson set, delivers. Massey punches it foul.
Craig Massey's hit one home run for the Cavalry this season. It was in Brisbane last week in a very small field.
All he wants to do is get on base. You got Wilson, Krause, Moanaroa.
Look at the gap he's got between centre and left.
Yeah.
Huge empty space out there.
Here we go. Mitchelson delivers. Massey rips it up the middle. Base hit. He is on. The winning run is now at first base.
They won't steal with him.
No.
He's fast enough to, but they don't need to at the moment.
Not with what's coming. All right. You just relax for a second. Woz has got this.
Can't relax.
I know you can't, mate.
Can't relax.
Mate, I've got this. And the crowd chanting for Zach Wilson. He's 1 for 3. This is unbelievable here at MIT Ballpark. 5-all. Craig Massey is the potential winning run at first. Zach Wilson. Mitchelson delivers. Wilson swings through strike one. And as you said, Chris Coleman, there was a huge gap and Massey just choked up on that with 2 strikes and punched it through for the base hit. 0-1 is the count. Mitchelson, he comes set at the belt. Checks Massey. He delivers. Outside with the breaking pitch. Ball 1. Count is 1-1.
So difficult here to pitch to Wilson, a guy who bats .330. And he's 1 for 3 tonight.
Massey leading away from first. He's got a good lead. Mitchelson comes set at the stretch. He delivers to Wilson. And that has missed around the inside. It's gone around the inside of the plate. 2-1. Mitchelson, the right-hander, throwing to the right-hander, Zach Wilson. Righty against righty here. No action in the bullpen. It's no guts, no glory here. 2 balls, 1 strike. Massey, the potential winning run at first. Mitchelson comes set. Outside, and he has suckered Wilson into chasing that one. The count is 2-2. The crowd is now making a lot of noise here at MIT Ballpark. And we'll try and update you later, but we're going to stay here for now. And look at Massey. Massey's out to a decent lead. Mitchelson hadn't even come set.
He may go now. It's a 2-strike count.
Checked. I think he's just trying to get into Mitchelson's head. He was out to a long lead before Mitchelson came set, but he didn't move once he did. 2-2. 1 out here, bottom of the 7th. This is a 7-inning game, but it will go to extras if needed. Comes set. Off the end of the bat. Fires over to first and gets Wilson. Does Scott Mitchelson. He looked over at Massey at second, but realised he wasn't going to get the throw there in time. So with 2 out, the winning run potentially is now at second. Michael Krause is the man who's up. He is 1 for 3. He had a single in his last at bat. Oh, and here comes the conversation. Because just as that's happened, and I thought no guts, no glory, and I was wrong, Chris, there are people getting up in the Perth pen. You can have the binoculars.
See if we can work out who it is down there.
You can have a look, my mate. You can have a look. Krause. Moanaroa is on deck. I'm wondering if they're potentially getting someone ready for if Krause does get on to come at Moanaroa.
I think if Krause gets on, it's good night, nurse. Unless he hits it to shallow left field, it's good night, nurse, if Krause gets on.
Or, and I'm just saying while we're waiting, do you intentionally walk Krause and pitch to Moanaroa?
Walk the guy with the 400 average to get to the guy with the 240 average.
Yeah.
Well,
but
it wouldn't be the first time I've seen something like that happen.
No, I think he's made a signal, and now someone is definitely up in the. He's walked back there, the Perth manager, and he's made a signal, and there is definitely someone up in the Perth pen now.
I think it's Dan Schmidt. I'm not sure.
But that's all right. Krause steps in, 2 out. Bottom of the 7th, 5 all.
I'm just trying to pick. It's very hard to tell because all I can see is the back of his jersey.
You keep looking. Craig Massey's at second. Mitchelson delivers inside, ball 1. I don't think he's going to want it. With first base open, I don't think he's going to want to try and throw anything into Krause's hitting zone. House picks it up, makes the throw over to first. That retires the side, and we are even heading into extra innings. In a 7-inning game, Chris Coleman, you've just thrown the pen down. Oh,
I thought for a moment there Krause was going to beat it. Remember in the earlier game this afternoon, he dropped a bunt down and beat the throw. That one, however, spun back towards the catcher, made it a little bit easier for House to get to the ball.
Well, I can tell you right now that it mustn't have been in the plan because Tamoya Makami is not the pitcher coming out for the 8th. It is Madison Youngana.
Okay.
Madison Youngana has come out. You can tell by the fancy-looking socks and the 31 on his back.
Well, this will be interesting because Youngana did throw earlier this afternoon, and he also threw...
No, he didn't throw. He was DHing this afternoon.
Oh, that's right. He threw...
Last night?
Last night, yeah. I'll just read you the line from last night.
Okay.
0.0 innings pitched.
Yes.
That's never a good start.
No.
2 hits, 2 runs, both of which were earned. 3 walks.
Stop reading. Just stop reading.
19 pitches for 5 strikes.
Just stop reading, mate.